Good afternoon all. Today we will conclude the introduction to Verilog SDL with the portion called simulation of a design. Till last class we have studied about different modeling style of Verilog like continuous assignment statement, behavioral assignment statement and structural assignment statement. We have seen in structural assignment statement we have written few codes for get level instantiation using primitive get level logic and module instantiation. Okay. So, if we will summarize that if the design is very complex, then it can be coded by using behavioral level modeling. So, in behavioral level modeling, we did a small code for full adder and we have also done a mixed type of mixed design modeling where we have done coding for a full adder with different modeling style, means that code contains get level, behavioral as well as data flow, continuous assignment modeling. So, also behavioral level model has a capability of writing loops and like for loop you can write if else, you can write case constructs also. Okay. So, this adds to behavioral level modeling that it can be used for complex designs, like you can do finite state machine codings and all the complex designs mostly if your gate count is high, then they are coded using behavioral level modeling. And, so, low level hierarchy coding like full adder we did or decoder we did, those are being coded by using data flow modeling. Also it can be done by using primitive gate level modeling. Okay. So, there is a question arises that we did RTL level coding, after that we did synthesis and after that we get gate level netlist. So, now RTL level coding may be in terms of any modeling style, understood. So, it may be mixed type of modeling of Verilog. So, what is the modeling style used after synthesis, that is gate level netlist, that also represented by using a coding language that is called same Verilog SDL. So, what do you feel that which modeling style is used for gate level modeling, gate level netlist generated after your synthesis is over. Okay. So, for that we use module instantiation, understood. The question is like we did RTL coding, after that we have done the synthesis in VLSI design flow, after that I am telling that my output is a gate level netlist. So, as it is gate level netlist, it will be in terms of either module instantiation or primitive gates. If that design contains a small AND, NAND or XOR logic, then primitive gates will be used, and if it is module instantiation. So, mostly what happen in synthesis we give input RTL code as well as we give a input called library items. I told that library containing all the modules standard cell library with its timing parameters, that also we gave to synthesis tool. Okay. So, synthesis tool will all the whatever RTL code you have written, that will be replaced by the available standard cell in the library. Okay. So, the outcome of the synthesis is a module instantiation code in Verilog. Okay. So, that can be better understood if you will do certain synthesis. So, that we will see in lab classes. Okay. I can tell you that, but just remember structural modeling has a importance as both structural modeling means your gate level as well as module instantiation. It has a importance in both RTL level to develop the build the system, at the same time after synthesis your gate level also, that is post synthesis also you will get a structural level modeling. Okay. So, we are continuing the tutorial class for Verilog, aiming that we will understand the entire Verilog in three classes. So, and later on we can proceed to in detail description of each modeling style or few design examples. Okay. So, now we will end that tutorial class with how to write a simulation for the Verilog code. So, once you have written the code, we have to verify that how to what is the output, how it is behaving if the certain inputs are given. So, for that I have taken 3 examples here. We will see 3 examples how to write the design example for those design code and at the same time what are the different variations, or in the same type of modeling of Verilog coding for simulation, what different variations we can do in the coding to get write a proper simulation test bench. Okay. So, for simulating a design, this is the block diagram where we will have a design, whatever, let us say assume that we have done 1 bit full adder as an example in previous classes. So, assume that my 1 bit full adder is ready. So, now we have to check, I have to give inputs at A, B, C in and I have to observe the output at sum and C out. Okay, like you know the truth table of full adder. So, corresponding all the possible combinations of 1 zeros has to be given at A, B, C in, and it has the output has to be observed at sum C out. So, that is why this is the block diagram which shows that what is a simulation environment. Okay. So, first the unit under test will be there, it may be full adder, it may be any design. So, this unit has to be again part of or submodule of a test bench. So, test bench again will be written in Verilog coding style. So, we have to write a Verilog test bench, there we have to instantiate or call that design which is under test. Okay. So, now to that design at the corresponding inputs we have to give, there are, if it is a generally ideally we find always sequential designs in day to day life. So, we will find one clock, we will find a reset, we will find some inputs. Okay. So, we have to have a clock generator portion in that coding which will generate a appropriate clock, so that that design will be working fine. Okay. Followed by we have to give appropriate reset logic also. So, reset has to be also generated in the test bench coding. Okay. After that, in at each input we have to generate the corresponding test structure, which is a, you can say, square wave combination of 1 0 inputs. Okay. So, this is generalized diagram, but for first example I have taken a 1 bit full adder. So, if it is a combinational design, so obviously we will never have a clock generator or reset logic in that. So, only test inputs will be there and unit under test will be there, and finally, there should be some system where you can observe the or monitor your response. Whatever input you are giving, you have to also monitor what is your response, whether it is as per your requirement or not, means then only we can say our specification met for the design. So, for small design we have to observe like what are the truth table inputs we can give, and we can observe that corresponding outputs are as per the truth table defined for that small design, like let us say 1 bit full adder. Okay. So, response monitoring can also be done through automated process. So, these classes today I will not do automated process. So, mostly we will monitor the response either in the console or terminal window of the tool, or by viewing in the simulation waveform generated in the tool. Okay. So, this is the block diagram. So, basically I can say that we can define, or we can define the various components of test bench are like this. First is your module, because this is one module again, that has to be defined, okay, and within that it has to be called. So, now the top module is that test bench module. That means, one module is instantiated in another module, which is called as module instantiation. Which module is instantiated, that is now is not a top module, it is a sub module. Okay, where it is being instantiated, that is called a top module. Okay. So, now my top module is the test bench code. So, we have to write a module name. So, obviously, here what we can do is these inputs we can generate internally by declaring register or wires like signals. Okay. So, that is why no need to define any input output specifically to the test one. So, I have written without any IOs we can define a module name. Followed by that declaration where we have to create these wires or signals. So, that has to be done. So, we can declare in the declaration part of the Verilog coding, we can declare where or raise declaration. Okay. Followed by we have to also call instantiate that unit under test. So, that is why we have written UT instantiation has to be done by using module instantiation methodology of or modeling style of the Verilog coding. Then finally, again you have to do clock generator. So, how to do clock generator, that we will see. You have to do reset generator, you have to also do the generator or stimulation generator. You have to write, do means I have to write the code for stimulation generator at each of the inputs. So, if designs are small, then you can directly give A equal to 1, B equal to 0, like that, appropriate in delay with appropriate delay. So, that square will be wave will be formed. If designs are complex, you can use loops also to create inputs at the corresponding inputs, means to create waveform at the inputs of the corresponding design. Understood? So, this is basically the various components of a test bench. So, what I have done is, so we will write down that code for test bench waveform of the full adder, because full adder already the code we have done last class, means that code we have done. So, we will directly write down that code of the test bench, we will try to understand it. Okay. So, so as we know, though there is a directive, this is called actually as directive. So, directive is your time scale 1 nanosecond by 1 nanosecond. So, this I told that in last class 1 nanosecond, this one is called as the time units. So, this I told, this is time units and this is your precision. Okay. So, in detail again I will tell when we will cover the portion of directives, at that time we will see. Okay. So, directives are written with a tick mark here. Okay. So, there are different directives. So, if I am writing 1 nanosecond by 1 nanosecond, then my delays will be rounded up to a value, like if 2 hash 2 means it is 2 nanosecond. Okay. So, now I have told that so it is something like this is a full adder. Okay. So, in this full adder we have to define another test bench. So, let us assume that this is a module with a FA underscore TV. Okay. So, I am writing like module FA underscore TV. So, as we will generate all the signals internally, so no need to write any input output. So, FA underscore TV is my top module. Okay. So, now FA has a input called A. So, this is visible, and then B, then C in. So, similarly output is called as sum and C out. Okay. So, what we will do is, actually we will create internal signals here like A, B and C in. So, these 3 signals, in these 3 signal I will generate the waveform. Okay. And that we will connect it properly by using module instantiation, and at sum also I will generate one signal called sum and C out, and here I will observe the waveform. As per the truth table of full adder, it should be verified. Whether then if your design is full adder is okay, then input and out, once whatever input you are giving, you should get the output as per the truth table. Okay. So, next is, so we have to define these signals. Okay. So, in this so first signal I am defining range A comma B comma C in. Okay. So, next we will see, next is where sum comma C out. So, now question arises, why A B C in is range and why sum and C out is where. So, because here I will assign A as 0, then delay, then A as 1, then delay, then 0. So, then only 0 1 0 waveform will be created. So, A will be assigned, I will use one initial block like behavioral modeling initial block to assign values to the corresponding inputs A, B, C in. So, that is why I have taken A, B, C in as register, and in sum C out I am going to observe the result. So, there is no assignment within block and all. So, that can be defined as where only, no need to define as a register. So, I can say that this is as I have told last class, this is my one portion, like in previous I have written like module name without then where declaration, this one, and this is, if you will see, this portion is my 2 portion, that is declaration of the signals where or range. Okay. So, once this is over, next within this block I have to call this full adder FA. Okay. So, assuming that I have designed a full adder in last class with a name of, let us say, FA underscore sequential. So, we did for a behavioral modeling by using always block. So, in that I will call it. So, FA underscore so while calling I have to means this FA is now actually the name is FA underscore sequential. Okay. So, FA underscore sequential I will call with a level name called UUT, unit under test. Then I will do the port mapping. Okay. So, after that only within this block this will come, it will be instantiated. Okay. So, while doing port mapping I told we use a methodology called dot local and bracket actual that we discussed in last class. So, here local is this one which is being called, okay, and actual is this one which the top module where we are calling. Okay. So, what we can do is we have taken the same name here. So, to avoid confusion, so I can say that we can use the same name for mapping. So, I can write down very easily, we can say dot A with A, comma dot B with B, comma dot C in with C in. Okay. So, input part over, and dot sum with sum, comma dot C out with C out, bracket end, another bracket end, then semicolon. So, this is actually my that third part. So, third part we discussed, that is called your UUT instantiation. Okay. So, once I am covering this third part, then this module is inside that this module is called, and also the connections or mapping is done. So, this will be connected here. Okay. This is a pictorial representation to indicate that this is let us say sum and this is let us say C out. What we are doing the corresponding figure to indicate that how it is how it works. Okay. Understood. So, now this part is over. Next part is in this module is clock generator. So, as it is a combinational design, we do not have any clock generator or reset logic. So, we will go directly to generation of the stimulation, and at the same time also we should have a 7-year like monitoring the response. So, that I missed, I think, monitor the response. Okay. So, that can also be done. So, next these two we have to do. So, here we will do a small version of monitoring it either through IE in simulation window or by using some monitor $monitor command, but there are automated versions are there where we can read the inputs in file and we can compare with a standard output generated in a file, and those can be compared through coding. So, that we may see towards the end of the syllabus. Okay. So, now once it is done, then we have to generate the inputs. So, now a brief that FA underscore sequential this we called, UT is the label name, then this is local and this is actual. Okay. So, we maintain the same name to avoid confusion. So, if you want that I will make instead of A, let us say I will do instead of A here I will do A1, then actual will become here A1. Okay. And after that as this is again named, this is I told last class, this is named association. So, either you put which is C out at first or A at last, that hardly matters. Okay. This is useful if you are having less number of or for more number of input outputs, this way of mapping is very good. Okay. For less number you can use positional association. Okay. Then next is we will generate the say test input. So, initial you can write begin here. See, you just remember initial is the you can say coding constructs in behavioral model which will execute a block only once and always will execute forever. Okay. Till events is happening it will do, and but if means within initial if you are having only one line of statement, then no need to write begin and end. But if you are having more than one line, then begin and end is a mandate. Okay. And begin and end are sequential, called as sequential block. So, with whatever you are writing within begin and end, it will execute one by one, means in a sequence. So, total delay if is there, it will be add up. Okay. So, to create a waveform always we should have a start that with a value, like it has a 0, let us say A. So, it has to be have a 0. Let for time period let us say 10 nanosecond, then it has to go for 1, then at 1 again it has to stay for 10 nanosecond, So, it will now become 20 nanoseconds. So, like this we used to generate a waveform, square wave. This is the basic fundamental you know. So, initial begin, then after that you can write down A 0, then B 0, then C in is equal to 0. Okay. So, in this way I am just creating this part only, A 0. Okay. So, after that I am taking this delay hash 10, this is delay in behavioral level modeling hash 10, in that I am writing A is equal to 1, then hash 10, B is equal to 1. So, you can take whatever input, whatever delay depending upon you. I have taken some random things to just do the simulation. B, then hash 10 C in is equal to 0. So, that means A, if I will say A, so after A is 0, after 10 nanosecond A is becoming 1. So, that means at 10 nanosecond 1 is it's something like that. Okay. So, at that time again after 10 nanosecond, so at this portion after 10 nanosecond I am giving only A is equal to 1, but B C I have not given any information. So, B C in will have its own old value, like B will be 0 and C in will be 0. Okay. So, if you want you can also give that, right. So, in the similar fashion, so after this C hash 10 C in is equal to 0. So, we can have another hash 10 A is equal to 0, then again hash 10 B is equal to 1, then hash 10 C in is equal to 1. So, if you will see that 10, 10, 20, 10, 30, 10, 40, 50, 60. So, at around 60 nanosecond your C in is becoming 1. Till that period it will retain its old value or assumed value initially, that is equal to 0. Okay. So, after this you can put a dollar stop. So, dollar stop will just halt the simulation, it will just stop the values, not simulation, it will whatever value you are generating that will be stopped there. Okay. So, that values will be stopped there. So, there is a dollar finish and dollar stop, these are the functions are there, that we will see in some other classes. So, after 60 nanosecond further to that your waveform will not proceed, it will stop there. Control will go to simulation for doing other simulation stuffs. Okay. So, this is actually as we started with a begin, we ended with a end. So, I think this is that portion where we generate our test inputs, or you can say test vectors, okay, at the inputs. Then finally, we have to monitor the results, that is response monitoring. So, for that it is similar to your printf command, we use a command called $monitor. Okay. So, initial $monitor, then time is equal to %t. So, this do semicolon I am just colon I am giving to differentiate between the corresponding next outputs displayed in the tool console window. Okay. Then $time, this is the syntax almost similar to your printf command in C. A %b comma b again %b comma C in is equal to %b, then sum is equal to %b, then C out is equal to %b. So, here you can end the inverted comma, then after that what you want to display, that thing you can write down A B C in sum and C out bracket and semicolon end. Then we have to write the end module. Okay. So, we started with a module and we end with a end module. So, this is that response monitoring part you can say. Okay. So, here if you will see in initial block I am having only one statement. So, that is why I have not given any begin and end. If there are multiple statements, then only begin and has to be given. Okay. And here the syntax is same. So, this is to display in terms of %t, and this will take the function is there $time. So, $time will give you the current simulation time. Okay. So, whatever current simulation time when it advances like 10 nanosecond or up to 1000 nanosecond, that will be displayed after time colon colon, that time is equal to the 10 nanosecond, then colon colon, then A will be in binary, B, C in sum, C out, all will be displayed in the binary. Okay. So, this is how you can just start with module, then declaration part, then instantiation, then generate your input test vector. So, here it is assumed that all the input output combinations should be given. If here A, B, C, and you know the truth table, okay, so all should be given. I have given small, but you should see all the given value, because sometimes let us say this logic you have not written properly in the design. So, that some few combinations may not work. So, all the possible combinations has to be given in the input, then you can go for the monitoring part. Okay. So, this ends how to write a code for a full adder. Okay. So, what I have done is follow to this, I have placed the corresponding test simulation done in Xilinx tools. So, and in the console window below also it will give you, these are in picosecond actually, nanosecond to picosecond conversion you can do and see. So, A is 0 initially. So, initially you can see here A0, B1, okay, it is coming, this cursor is here. So, this 1 is coming. So, we can ignore it. So, initially A0, B0 up to 0 time nanosecond all are zeros, then after 10, so after 10 A is becoming 1, okay. Then after 20 B is becoming 1, then after 30 Cin is 0. So, again it is having entered 0. So, at 40 A is becoming 0. So, it is 40 nanosecond, A is becoming 0, and if you will see at again in 50 nanosecond again B is 1. So, B is continuously 1, only we can see a variation of A from 0 to 1 and 1 to 0. So, accordingly you have to write this I have written, but you have to write all the test cases. So, then only you can see the entire truth table verified in the simulation window. Got? So, this is how, and in the console window if you have written that $monitor part, then only these things will appear. If you have not written that, you can observe the output here, but here nothing will appear. Okay. So, this is one example. Second example, I have just put the code because by this time you are acquainted with writing of the code. So, it is better to write than study. So, but anyway, to reduce time I have put the code here, so that we can discuss. So, initially let us say it is a master slave D flip flop. So, instead of using behavioral level modeling, I have used the gate level instantiation. Okay. So, module MSD flip flop I have taken. Then in input, you know, if I will make a black box here, I will get one input as D input and CLK I have taken clock as C. My outputs are Q and QR. So, it is D, C, Q and QR. So, module is over. Okay. Then after that you can define what is input, what is output. So, DC are input, QR as the output. Then after that, so you can see there are lots of wires are there interconnecting mediums, like there is an inverter here. So, output is this. So, as input is D here, I have taken this output as a wire called not D. Okay. So, similarly, so okay, this is for D. Similarly, for clock also input is C. So, I have taken not C for this output. Okay. Similarly, for this input is Y, we have taken not Y, means this is actually not Y, not mentioned here, and this is not D. Okay. So, not Y is there, right. Then for intermediate this it is D1, D2 and Y1 or Y2. So, this is there, and Y is this, and again Y and Y bar somewhere is there. Okay, not Y I have taken, which one is Y? Okay, this is Y. So, Y bar is there or not? Not ND3, ND3 has a Y bar, or this is Y bar. Okay. So, these are the things we have taken. So, this is the declaration of the wire part is over. Okay. So, now simply connect it by using gate level primitive gates. So, it is very easy to do. So, the same thing if you will do in behavioral level modeling, we have to define a style of defining positive edge of clock and all. So, that I have taken another example to understand for a counter code. Okay. So, now as there are three like 3 are there. So, 1, 2, 3, D is 1, this is 2 and this is 3. So, we have taken not, then NT1 for the, you can say the label, not is the standard primitive gate. So, for NT1 the output first, so not D is first, then D, okay, then give a comma, NT2 for not C first and C. So, here also C is output first. So, in gate level primitive you have to remember always output first, only in gate level primitive. Do not confused with any other module construction or anything, do not think about that also. Only in gate level primitive always output is first. Okay. Then this part is over for 1, 2, 3, 3 NOT gates. The next part is for NAND. So, ND1, ND2, ND3, 4, similarly 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So, NAND the primitive gates. So, for ND1 your output is D1. So, D1 is written, input is DC. So, DC is written. Okay. Similarly, ND2 output is D2, then inputs are not D and C. So, this is over. Similarly, ND3 output is Y, okay, inputs are Y bar and D1. So, you may tell what I will place here. So, either you put here or here, that does not matter, but output should be always first. Okay. Then for ND4 again output is Y bar and inputs are Y and D2. So, it is a feedback to create the latch, okay, that we know. Then similarly for ND5 Y1, this is not C and another is Y. So, that they have written Y and not C. Okay. Then ND6 is Y2 and this is not C and not Y. Okay. And last two are for this. So, Q is one input, so which is having Y bar, Y1 and Q bar, and Q bar is now my become output. So, it is having input as Y2 and this part this is Q and this is Y2, this is Q and this is Y2. Okay. So, this is one easiest way to write the master slave D flip. So, I think master slave D flip flop will give you the output at negative S triggering. Okay. So, now coming to the code part. So, that we have just done that module MSD flip flop TV without any input output. Okay. Then after that again here I am assigned here all the inputs to the D within an initial block. So, that is why D is register, okay, and C is also assigned clock. So, C is also register, C is used here. So, I means this code has a test input generation, also has a clock generation, it does not have a reset generation. So, next example I have put all the three reset, clock and test inputs. Okay. So, now D and C as they are in initial and always. So, both are defined as C register, but Q and Q bar we are just observing the result. So, it is defined as a where, right. So, now next is instantiate the unit under test. So, I am taken MSD, same name you have to take, same module name MSD flip flop, UUT is my label. So, again dot local dot actual, because I am assuming same name as the signals here whatever we have written, dot D dot CC dot QQ dot Q bar. So, it is only you are calling this which has a D input and C input, Q input and Q bar. So, do not worry about the Y1, Y bar intermediate thing. So, when MSD flip flop means if I am not going into detail of the behavior structure or data flow, I have left out only this is my module, this is my interfacing medium or communicating medium with other modules. Okay. So, those part we will write down. So, this has to be called in another test bench like MSD flip flop underscore TV, where we have declared all these things as I told, and this has to be again connected. So, connection is done. So, now we will generate waveform here and clock waveform here, observe the result here and verify as per your truth table of the master D flip flop. Okay. So, now next is generation of clock. So, I have in this particular example I have taken one way of representing clock, in third I have taken another way of representing clock. So, if you will see here it is a single line equation or you can say coding. So, I have not used begin end. So, because clock has to be generated continuously. So, it can't be generated by using initial construct, because initial will start from here, If you will also not write dollar stop, it will stop here, because initial will execute once only, understood. But clock is a continuous process. So, that is why you can't write clock using initial. So, if you are writing your initial, okay, always hash 5 C and C is equal to naught of C, that means initially assuming that my C is 0. Okay. So, after 5 time units naught of C, so C is becoming 1 and it is a continuous loop. So, again after 5 times again it is becoming 0 1 0 1. So, clock is generated, understood. So, this is one way of generating the clock in test bench waveform. Okay. So, this you remember, it is C is equal to naught of C. So, see, if I will write, say I will write only always C is equal to naught of C, this is invalid, right. So, C has a certain level of delay, without this statement is not valid. Simulator will confuse to give you such, because how it will just simply may oscillate in a point, no valid output will be created or waveform, understood. So, this is how clock will be generated. Next, I have see, you can say that I can generate tests also by using always here, you generate, no problem, it may be a continuous waveform. Okay. So, let us we have generate initial. So, initial, so I have given D first 0, then C initially it is C, I have given 0 here. So, as because C has to be see here I have just generated a clock, but I have not initialized the value of C, are you getting. So, that is why C has to be initialized to 0. So, once C is 0 and these two blocks I told na. So, all the initial always or continuous assignment statement or structural or gate level primitive coding all will execute parallelly concurrently, but the body of this will execute one after one, understood na. So, that is why when C will be 0, at the same time there is a trigger. So, C now becoming naught of C, that is 1, understood. Then with 5 delay this will keep on creating the clock inputs. Okay. So, after that in 35 I have just, because it is a D flip flop, we have just changed the value of D within certain time interval. You can vary this time interval up to your means whatever you feel, you can take any other time interval also. Then dollar stop initial, then coming to dollar monitor, same time will be represented with dollar time, the current simulation time. These are the method of displaying. So, as same print is equivalent to Verilog is more or less syntax are also C type. So, printf replacement here you can say dollar monitor. Okay. So, another important notes to remember, that dollar monitor, like dollar monitor, they have another display command or monitoring command called dollar display. Okay. But dollar display is actually will execute once like initial, it will not give you a continuous display output. Okay. So, dollar monitor can, what it can do, whenever there is a trigger in either C, D, Q or Q bar, whatever input are there, whenever there is a trigger, it will keep on giving you new, update the new values at each time interval, or that means we can say at each dollar time, current time simulation. Okay. So, instead of dollar monitor, if I will write dollar display, so fast when fast time the value will change, after that it will not display anything. Okay. So, dollar monitor is more useful than dollar display. Sometimes you can use dollar display to execute that portion of code and just observe the result to check that whether there is any error in phase wise in a code. Okay. But dollar monitor, wherever you write, I have written here, if you will tell I will write here, you write here dollar monitor, it wherever the code you write ABC, when it will have a change or event triggering is there, the output will be displayed, okay, in the console window, right. So, next I have put the same thing here. So, the same coding. So, here to know that clock is generated, you can see this is 5, 10, 15 and 20, this is 20 nanosecond. So, correspondingly clock is generated. So, this simulation window by default will show you the result of up to 1000 nanosecond. If you want to go beyond also, you can just resimulate with another time. By default Xilinx show a window of 1000 nanosecond. Okay. So, here one question is why these portions are red mark, because as this is a D flip flop, these are latch. Initially we assume there is no value, we have initialized to Q and Q bar. Okay. So, these are actually some undefined values are coming. Okay. So, when there is a proper Q is getting a proper 0, then only that latching will be there and master slave will give you certain output at a negative edge triggering. Okay. So, here D is 1 rising 0 to 1, then at negative edge triggering that is transferred. Okay. Similarly, here D is becoming 1 to 0, but again where Q here. So, at negative edge triggering that 1 to 0 is happening, and if you will see Q and Q bar are just opposite of each other. So, this is and again console window you can find like in 0, if it is 0 time units, my C is 0, you can just observe C is 0, D is 0 and these are undefined. So, XX. So, this XX comes because we have not initialized the value of Q and Q bar. Latches should start from a initialized value either 0 or 1, but in the process, in the coding the process, somewhere they achieve a value of 0, then till that period you will get a undefined state. Okay. So, you can say like 10, this is 0 5 I have taken na clock. So, 10 at 10 now my Q is 0. So, 10 mein Q is 0, D is 0, C is 0 and QB is 1. So, like this you can observe. Okay. So, this is example 2 and example 3 is of a op counter design. So, asynchronous op counter. So, counter is a design where you can it is used to count the number of input sequences, okay. And sometimes you can use counter also to in a different timing mode we can use to create a delay. Okay. So, here I have written asynchronous op counter. So, you know asynchronous and synchronous. So, synchronous is with respect to clock and asynchronous is independent of the clock. That means, the output can be reset to 0 or it can be preset to 1 without any interference of the clock. If clock is high or low, it does not matter and output can achieve any reset value or preset value either 0 or 1 respectively. Okay. So, so if you will go for specification, this is actually I have not written here, this is actually a 4 bit counter. So, it will start counting from 0, it will go up to 15 and then it will reset again to 0, because 15 is this 1111. So, if you will add this, what you will got? This is my result, and as it is a 4 bit counter. So, only 4 bit will be retained, last one will be discarded. So, it will by default after 15 it will roll over to 0, understood. Okay. So, we have taken like you can say an input where my output is 3 bit sorry 4 bit, my output is 4 bit. So, here I have taken counter asynchronous output enable as one input, then clock okay, reset is another input, this one, and clock is another input. So, let us say this is clock. So, this is my counter underscore async, my design for a asynchronous op counter. So, it will do 0 to 15 then back to 0 automatically, no need to write that after 15 you go to 0, by default it will go to 0. Basic funda is this, when it you will add all 15 binaries to 1, by default 0 will come, 1 will be discarded because 4 bit. So, 5th bit will be discarded automatically. Okay. So, like you can define inputs are enable clock reset and output is 4 bit. So, you have to define 3 is to 0 where 3 part is MSB and 0 part is your LSB, out is my out. Okay. Now, here again we have done internal variable declaration. So, that is range 3 is to 0 and out. Okay. So, because here in the code if you will see inside always block, okay, range out has been assigned with certain value either 0 or out plus 1 type thing. So, certain assignment or statement is executed and assigned to out, right. So, that is why we have declared as register with appropriate vectors 3 is to 0, right. So, then after that the code is like this. This is actually in detail we will see in behavioral level modeling. For the timing you can just see this will help you to carry forward your lab also. So, always at the rate of pauses of clock, okay, or pauses of reset. Okay. So, that means here my reset is active high. So, reset is high means output will 0, okay, and reset is low means it will act as a counter. Okay, understood. So, if you will see, if so this indicates actually after this I have written begin and end, and for end module is for module. Okay. So, within this is my code, body of the code, sequential within a begin and sequential block. So, it shows if reset is high, my output is 0. Okay. This begin end I have put, but if you will tell this is single line, no need to put also, it will work. Then when reset is high, my output is 0. If reset is low, then only it will come to here, else if indicates my reset is low now, and at the same time I have taken a control input like enable. So, if enable input is high, then only output will become out plus 1. Okay. So, this is actually called non-blocking method of defining the sequential code. So, that we will discuss in behavioral level in detail, not now. This is to show how to write a test bench. Okay. So, here the summary is this is simple code. When reset is high, my output is 0, else if enable is high, means reset, if reset we will see in reset is high, then output should be 0. If reset is 0, then enable should be high, then only this counting will start from 0 till 15, then back to 0. Okay. So, in between we should not make reset high, else the entire counting sequence will not come. If you are making reset high, it will become 0 again. Okay. And another thing to know, that this is the way of defining clock in behavioral level modeling. In sequential classes, we have to write pauses of clock, that is positive edge triggered. This you know, neges of clock, negative edge triggered. Okay. So, this pauses of clock is this one. Okay. And or pauses of reset. So, this indicates this line actually are the asynchronous functionality to this design. So, I have what I have done, either pauses of clock or as pauses of reset, that means any one will satisfy, this code will execute. So, here first I have put the reset. So, if reset is high, independent of the pauses of clock, this code will start assigning out to 0. Okay. And after that, when reset is low, at that time in the presence of the clock or positive edge of your clock, output is equal to out plus 1. Okay, this we will discuss further in sequential classes. So, by using this we have designed a counter. Okay, so, this you can see just by writing a structural modeling, designing is hard, you read in digital electronics. In this way, if you are writing in a small line only, your counter is designed. Okay. So, after that the test bench is counter asynchronous underscore TV, then reg enable clock, then where, then I have called it module instantiation, it is a similar thing, only thing these two we need to understand. So, this is another way of defining the clock, where what I have done, always begin clock equal to 0, you can pass the delay individually like hash 100. So, that means after 0 till 100 nanosecond it is 0, then my 0 will become 1, then after 100 nanosecond means till 200 it will be 1, then it will go like this. This is because it is a always block, continuous, got. So, this way also you can write, or if you will tell I will write down hash 100 clock is equal to not clock, that is also okay, this is also okay. This is how to generate a clock. Okay. Then last is initial begin. So, after that you can write enable 0. So, initially I have made enable 0, then I made the in reset is equal to high, then 100 time units may I made again reset to 0 and enable to 1. Then monitoring part, that is the similar type thing. So, here if you will see this clock 0, 100, 100. So, from 0, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, understood na. So, this clock keep on generating, I have extended it beyond 1000 till 3500, and here enable is initially 0. So, enable is initially 0. So, after enable is initially 0, at the same time my reset I made high. Why? Because if I am making reset high, my output will become 0, understood. So, that is why my output now becomes 0, it does not have any undefined value. See, output if I will not make reset high here, then you may get a red here, do not care. So, when I am making reset high, my output is 0, and from that sequence only it will start counting up. Okay. So, after 100 reset is 0, but after 200 enable is high, that means total here at 300 time units my enable is high. The condition is reset should be 0 and enable should be high, then it will start counting from 1 till 15, then after that by default it will go to 0. If it is not required in test bench, do not make reset in between somewhere high. If you are making high here, 0 will come, which is not desired output. Understood? So, this is another way of representing code with POJEs, how you can write and how asynchronous can be maintained, and these are the similar type we have written. So, you can see 0, 1, it keep on increasing, only up to 7th clock pulse I have given the output, right. So, here we will end with simulation of the design, and we will end with the Verilog introduction to Verilog. Next class onwards we will see in detail coding constructs of the Verilog SDL coding. Okay.